Morning all. Painting this big guy. Morning case. G'day Sammy. G'day Shkoey. It's a big boy. Very big boy. Hope everyone's had a good week. We'll save that one. We'll go dark green now. Misfits green. Hello, Necro Tomb. Yeah, public holiday will be very, very good. G'day, Cragzog. pretty complicated figure, friends, so I'm just focusing on holding the motherfucker up. Got a lot of teeth. More teeth than I realised. We will add pastel blue into this next version of highlighting. In the story of Kingdom Death, this guy lives in the Abyssal Woods, along with the Dung Beetle Knight, the Flower Knight, some other things. I've painted a lot of green on those guys. So I thought we would maintain that green colour palette. Dung Beetle Knight is an excellent mini. There's a new one coming out, Case, called the Dung Beetle Baron in the Campaigns of Death, and he's a souped up version of the Dung Beetle Knight. He looks awesome. This is a Kingdom Death model. This is the Sparrow Goblin. There you go. Unfortunately, I have already ordered it. Alright. So I might switch to a different colour airbrush now. Different colour through the airbrush. A lot of new models coming in the Campaigns of Death that I'm looking forward to. So there's a lot of other elements on this model. It's got this is a very complicated model. Yeah, this is all, I think it's a bony carapace. These are eyes down here. This is like a fur cloak. The head, this is the head. It's actually a goblin, and then he's wearing this super cool mask. So we're painting all of the underside bits first. Yeah, they're pretty unique in the miniature world. They do some outrageous stuff. There is my go-to colour, royal brown. Airbrush is due for a good clean, but thought I won't worry about it. I'll just push through. It was a bad call. Come on. No. It's done. We gotta start from scratch. Yep, airbrushing a creature of this size is the only way to fly. These are the little things that you're supposed to use on your teeth. I don't know if I've explained how I clean my airbrush in a little while, but here you go. These little things. You can get them from Coles. G'day, Sebastian. Where is my little... There you are. Hiding at the bottom. And if you get the right size one of these, it can usually go all the way from the back as well, which is cool. Because they bend, you can go like that. Boop. Oh, got a big chunk there. Nice. And then Q-tips, or whatever the fuck everyone else calls them. What are they actually called? Q-tips? Oh, look at that. Get some of that up here. I sort of feel like the exterior of an airbrush is kind of like a baggy green. You know, the more dirty it is and beat up, that's a mark of respect. But the interior has to be immaculate, or else your fucking thing won't work. Alright. that's that bit. And I need to clean this little Bobby Dazzler. Hey, Toppy. Talk about me or the Goblin? ¿Por qué no los dos? Now this little fucking thing is the bit that you can't lose. It's also the hardest bit to fucking get out. It's the hardest bit to clean. My mate Gav used to have a little airbrush cleaner. No, he's an upcoming release, my man. So, well, he's gonna have gameplay content at some point. So, I'm just getting in early. Yeah, my mate Gav used to have a little cleaning thing that you could use for this bad boy. Indeed, the Abyssal Woods. Let's just start a dialogue right now about something, because I'd like to get some perspectives. Do you think my push for live streaming judging in all forms is something that is good? Or do you think that there are too many downsides for it to be a good idea? So, specifically referring to Crimson, but also other events. That's good. Good observations. I mean, one of my lessons from the last Crimson, and it was a very important lesson, what I think, hey, thanks Nagel, what I think is important, what I value, is not necessarily what everyone else values. You know, I had a fair bit of opposition towards the concept of a standard and masters category, but the vast majority of people gave us fantastic feedback around it. So from that perspective, I'm all for it, but I don't know if everyone else feels that way. Yep. But if we were to say sample size the people that are entering competitions, you know, what percentage of those people are comfortable with getting feedback and excited about it, and what percentage are probably just doing it because they know they have to, but don't necessarily want that. Oh, look at these big chunkers that come out. Look at that. Well, that's maybe a separate conversation, but maybe it's actually not a separate conversation. Maybe it's the same conversation. Just online forums have a tendency to just only positive feedback sort of environment, which, as you say, isn't necessarily great at developing skills. And it's also not really replicating life. Yeah, we've had in the Brisbane Display Painters Guild, there's a red, yellow, green feedback system where people nominate where they see themselves and what they want from their feedback, which I think is a cool idea. But that's from just a general community and an environment where, you know, the goal is just to bring people together. I think there's a slight difference when it comes to a competition. G'day, Sean. Look, I think I want someone to be brutally honest when it comes to any aspect of life. Just give me the truth. Because how else do we learn? How else do we get better? But what I've learned many times in my life is that very few people think the same way that I do. And there's this little thing called societal norms, where you're supposed to pretend to people that they're great and everything's great, and then say something maybe a little bit helpful. And I just don't do well at that. Because I just want to tell the truth. Very true, very true. Golden brown, texture like sun. No, I wouldn't have called them that either, Top. But again, this is not about me. You know, so it's not about me. This is about what does the wider group want. And you can't please everyone. But, yeah, is the assumption that everyone wants this, but it's actually just like 5%. And I'm not talking specifically about the Lanterns Reign. I'm talking about in general, because I'm you know, starting to plan for Crimson. Your shit don't stink. Lean a little bit closer. The OHS stream. That was good fun. The funniest part about that was it didn't actually, like, we didn't talk about that or anything. We just got into that, and that's just what evolved. So, quite funny. Might be time for some brush. Alright, so I've got to actually figure out colour palette elements for this now. Yeah, it's Bucks, DC, and Nat are our judges for Crimson. Big brush. How do we want to do this, Dano? Ah, Nova. The Nova Open. Good bunch of dudes and dudettes, one assumes. These little eyeballs are pretty awesome. Look at them. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be like bone or armor plates or, but yeah, we're going with bone. But we're going to vary the bone a fair bit, I think. Golden brown, texture like sun. New Umbrella Academy came out this week. I haven't started it. Final Umbrella Academy, I should say. Yeah, it is. I think the mask we make, probably gold. What should I do for the skin colour? I think birds are generally similar skin colour to us, so maybe we go for a humanish skin tone. No need to fight, never a frown with golden brown. Oh yeah, we could do that. That could work. Sickly skin colour. Sit back out now. D. Cameron. I did like the guy who played Borman in Willow. Isn't it a real shame that series didn't land well? I didn't mind it. I certainly didn't think it was top tier television, but it was fine. You know. I do like that guy too. Yeah, yep. Not everything needs to be Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. Some things can just be fun, a bit campy. You talking about Willow, Simon? Or the other one? Hmm. That's metal. Here. Yeah, it got one. It got one season, and then they said, "No, thank you." And it actually wasn't that bad. Um, bum, 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 na, na, na. Hey, thanks for asking, Match Fixer. Still ticking along with the fun closing down of the business approach. But yeah, we're sort of we're getting close now to when I will wrap up, which will be around the end of September. So we'll see what happens, see what comes about of it. I've been at the point now for a little while where I've accepted it. And unfortunately, I'm trying not to think about what comes next, because it's just not happening for a little while. And I'm obviously not going to jeopardize or risk my redundancy package, so I just have to accept that I'm kind of in this limbo state for a little while. Which isn't easy. Okay, just going to do something now. Yeah, I got lots of models. Yeah, I mean, I'd really probably like to end one week and walk into something not long after that. I'm not really not really sure I want to be spending a lot of time not working. Mostly because I think I'll struggle. I won't struggle with not working, I'll struggle with going back. Come on, you little fucker. Come out of there. Thank you. Correct, yes, correct. Thank you, Gentry. Welcome. Depressing conversation to come in on your first time. Apologise for that. We're normally a lot more excited on the stream. Yes, the company I've been employed at for 20 years. Yeah, we closed all operations in Australia. So. Well, fingers crossed for you, mate. Not easy. Yeah, so the reason I took those little prongers off is there's little teeth in here that I want to paint. I think it'll make a big difference if I get those teeth painted, as well as all these eyes. Oh, my friend, I don't paint a lot of Warhammer on here. What was the last Warhammer model we painted on here? I did some Cursed City. That was about 2 years ago. Generally, what I paint is stuff like this, my friend. This is the last thing I painted. That was a big one, anyway. How long did that take us? I think about 5 weeks. This one took 7. This is another one I did, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I do tend towards. Last week I was painting this guy. It's a little bust. So I just like painting, mate. I just paint big dioramas because they're fun. I paint models for my games like this guy. I paint busts. I just like painting. That's all. So I paint whatever my mood feels like. It's good, Sean. We've got 4 figures for the church scene. I decided to put it on hold for a little bit. Firstly, because QMHE, so I wanted to do the Viking and a couple of other things for QMHE. Then I'm also pretty pumped about Kingdom Death, and I wanted to do a little scene, or 7 little models for my Kingdom Death campaign that I'm currently playing. So I painted those 7 models, and that got me fired up to paint this big boy. And so that's what I'm doing. I always advocate following your muse. Yeah, I've done that. Most of the big diorama scenes that I do are from Kickstarters. They get you with the deals, mate. They get you with the great deals. Cheeky fuckers. Oh, I took a little video of my Kingdom Death collection. I'm not sure if I've shown the updated one. Media source. Bum ba-dum bum ba-dum ba-dum bum ba-dum ba-dum bum ba-dum ba-dum bum. Download anyway. Yeah. Fuck is they? Alright, that's downloading. This might not actually work. It's an MP4. Oh. Pause that. Big video, Deno. This is A-grade quality stuff from me. Oh, can't you just do fit to screen or something? Transform. Fit to screen. What an idiot. Just do that, Deno. Anyway, I'll scroll it down so it's under my face. There's me. There's that. It's pretty cool, eh? Videos, it's not coping well with the video, is it? Anyway, so this guy joins the list. I did indeed see it, Nurgle. I've actually signed up for the 2028 Olympics, mate. Because, yeah, I figure if that's what Australia's got to offer, I can deliver on that level of quality. Go Ray Gun. really love the internet sometimes. The way that it just latches onto things, and that cracks me up. I'm doing a fantastic job with keeping the model on screen, aren't I? I've used some of them. As a general statement, heavy body acrylics doesn't really fit in with the way that I paint now. That makes it hard for me to assess the quality of those heavy body acrylics, because I'm generally just comparing them to what I know, and they don't really align with the way that I paint. So, but I have used a couple of them on occasion. I literally used the white this morning before I got on camera. I pulled out the white, still on my palette, which you can see just there. That's the heavy body acrylic white. So but yeah, as I said, I don't really use heavy body acrylics, but what I understand of paint, they're quite good. They just don't really fit with the way that I paint. So alright. Let's do some crazy shit. That was crazy shit. That wasn't exactly what I was referring to, but no, I don't. Well, look, heavy body acrylics has been a thing for quite a while. A number of painters that I know swear by heavy body acrylics. It's just a very different style of painting to how I paint, and so they just don't really work for me. But everyone has different, little things that they like about paint, or little things that they like to do, and so I generally try not to say things are good or bad. I just say whether they're good or bad for me, because they may be great for someone else who has a very particular way of manipulating paint. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I use a lot of contrast paints, a lot of washes, and then I like to work with pretty thick paint as well. When you say confident with colour, Sean, do you mean with what colours to choose, or do you mean with just like the mechanical applications of paint? It's an interesting question. As I said, I think that the position you're in now, mate, is time for you to go sign yourself up to a Patreon or something like that, and have them, explain colour and the way that they do things, because I think you're sort of in a state now where you need more knowledge, you need more the why of what people do. Craft World, for example, might be an interesting one for you to start up with, because they do a lot of things with colour that is quite out there. One little thing I'll stress for you, mate, and this goes for whoever. Try not to get too wrapped up in the technique. Ben Comets uses loaded brush technique, which is looks revolutionary. When you see him do it, you're just like, yes, loaded brush. I'm going to do everything with loaded brush. And then some people will do two brush blending, some people will do airbrush blending. There's all of these things that people will do, and it looks like it's the answer to all of your problems. It's not. It's never about the technique, It's always about their experience and their practice with said technique. What you're looking for when you have these Patreons or videos or whatever is you're trying to understand the why. Why do they do things? And that's usually the stuff that they explain whilst they're doing the technique. And I think people maybe go about it a little backwards, where they focus more on, oh wow, loaded brush will solve my problems, or loaded brush is what I need to do to get better. And loaded brush is great. But it's not going to solve your problems. Not that you have problems, right? It's not going to help you get to the next level. because I don't think it's anything to do with your technical brush skills or anything like that that's going to hinder you. So chicken wings. Thanks, Slaz. It's a very cool model. Hopefully we can make it look very cool by the time we're finished. No, mate, this figure's from a company called Kingdom Death. If you Google Kingdom Death Monster, you will see a wide variety of crazy models like this that you'll be able to purchase for yourself, should you wish to do so. That is not affiliated or anything to do with me. First step in being good at something, Sean, is being bad at something, mate. So, keep trucking. yeah, that mindset of being on the journey, getting to the final destination. Usually you have the ugly stage before you get there. Don't worry that everything looks like absolute busted ass right now. That's just a totally fine thing for the stage we're at on the figure. Everything is going to take a lot of time on a piece of this size to actually look cohesive or good. And that's assuming we can even get it to cohesive and or good. You know, things on this scale are much, much different. I tend to focus on a few key areas on a piece like this. You know, if the few key areas look pretty good and pretty right, then generally the model looks pretty good and pretty right. Alright. So now, what colour skin do we want to move into? We were going to go for a sort of sickly green colour, weren't we? Thanks, mate. Appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. I'm not very interesting today, so maybe come another time when I'm more interesting. We were both young when I first saw you. Close my eyes and the flashbacks start. I'm standing there on a balcony in summer air. might just go a tiny little bit of this crazy magenta colour mixed in with my brown. More magenta. There we go. Oh, it's a heavy boy. Fatigue sets in when you're painting a figure of this scale very, very, very quickly. Yes, it is. I mean, it's as big as my head. It's a big boy. Alright, we can go back to some bone elements now. Added a little bit of pink into that, which is the same colour I put in the skin. Which I think is working. This is probably going to be one of my main focus areas of the piece. I figure if I can get this element to look really cool, and the mask, then that's going to be the majority of the work. Feathers are relatively easy. That's a great question, Cragzog. So this guy comes from an unreleased expansion. The last Black Friday they had this figure available for sale, just the figure. They call it a naked bundle. So you don't get any of the rules, but they've got the figure and they're like, yeah, you can come and have it if you like the model. Well, viewing angle, mate, when you it's on the table, this area is going to be the focal point. So yeah, I just decided, yeah, I'll buy it. That way I get it painted, and then when the actual expansion gets here, it's already painted. I don't have to paint it. How cool is that? It is cool, is the answer. So I don't actually know the context of where this guy sits in the game. You would expect, with the scale and magnificence of it, that it would be an end game boss. Most campaigns have two sort of end game bosses. One's called a core monster. One that you sort of face at about 2/3 of the way into the campaign, and if you can't defeat that guy, then your campaign ends. And then one final monster. So I don't know if this guy's going to sit as the finale monster or if he's going to sit as that 2/3 of the way through core monster. I'm not sure. I'm excited to find out. I do play Kingdom Death solo, my friend. It's many campaigns of it on my YouTube channel. Indeed they are. There was a video released yesterday and day before by Ninjon. Very, very, very cool video. He paints some King Death figures, which is nice, but just really good approach to painting figures relatively quickly. Quite similar to how I approach mine, with some differences. This is a good video, worth checking out if you have lots of board games figures that you want to paint, or just any figures that you want to paint, really. Oh, this extends down here. That's annoying. I did not. Oh, nice. I don't like the glowing eye things, but everything else is cool. Well, it's fine. Are you asking how I would do it, or if I liked it? Probably heat one of these and stretch it. Toxic fumes, so beware, but that'll create the sort of shape that you're looking for. No, you can do that. That works. I mean, lots of things work. Lots of ways you can do just about anything. You just got to find one that matches the desired outcome that you have in your head. That'd be cool. Yeah, so for dripping blood, I used to use a piece of hair. So I used to get a piece of hair and have that be the basis of the blood. And then you can put super glue over the top of that to strengthen it. And just do it in a couple of layers, super glue. And then you just paint it with a gloss red. which works fine. But I didn't like the hair durability concern, so I shifted to fibre optic cable, I think. Fishing line. And that works fine. Yeah, it's a good one too. Come on, Dano. As I said, there's generally quite a few ways you can approach most tasks. Just got to find the one that suits what you want to do. What a crazy figure. I really like this figure. It is just out there. But it's just got so many incredible little details, you know? Finishing up in a little while. Big day today. But I appreciate everyone joining me today. When are we going to finish? Yeah, probably in about 15 minutes. Had a great stream last week with Bucks. We did some feedback. We had a chat. Enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing him again tomorrow. Assuming we managed to sync that up. Yeah. Hang on a second, you didn't make it. Did you? No, you did. Hmm. Bit of airbrushing over this obviously will be how we'll conclude this little area. So it does look a little sketchy right now. Not sketchy as in bad, as in sketchy. So a bit of airbrushing will look pretty cool. Yeah, we're going to use some of my favourite colours, pterodon turquoise, that sort of thing, into some really wild shadows. Interesting. G'day, chum dabs. What is my go-to snack? Probably barbecue shapes. What about you? You healthy fucker, you. You think you're better than me, don't you? No, unfortunately, won't get to use this guy for probably about 2 years. And that's if things go well. Could be longer. I think he's slated for release end of 2025, which probably means we'll see him in 2027. I might even be dead. Yep. And that way I can at least fight him in the afterlife. Chinken. Death chicken. No, not at all, mate. I mean, I think probably it's a very unusual situation that this company finds themselves in, entirely of their own making, where they have many models sculpted, but then the game componentry tends to be the hard part, the sticking part. So he's got a myriad of models all sculpted and ready to go, but hasn't released them because they don't have the rules, the game components and stuff to go with it. So he started doing this thing where he's like, yeah, I'll just release these models. But there's also stuff that he's released. He just releases models that he's had sculpted which don't have any game rules, they're just sort of models. So I think it sort of blurs the lines between when he has a figure, if it's actually intended for the game versus just, cool. And so some of the models that he sculpted have absolute game purposes, but they're also cool. So and then another component to it, I'm sure, is keeping the income flowing. There's cool models that have been sculpted. I mean, I could show you some other absolutely wild models that are upcoming, that have been finished sculpting. Like they're tooled, they're ready to go. He's made, molds and what have you, so he can release them, potentially sell them to people just as models, and then release them again with rules when that time comes around. And that is another component to it, my friend. Cool models for cool models' sake. Alright. Yeah, it's kind of a higher mid-tone, higher value mid-tone. Well, it's not. It's not intended to be gold, so it's intended to be bone. So what we're going to do is probably right now hit it with some snakebite leather. There will be other gold elements. What's my favourite movie genre? Sci-fi, fantasy. Don't really like horror as a general rule. There have been exceptions to that. For example, Event Horizon. Anyone who hasn't watched Event Horizon, do yourself a favour. What an absolute banger. Alright, a little more airbrushing and then we're calling it a day. Oh, heard it's good. It's all time, mate. Midnight Mass, is that the one with Rahul Kohli? Whatever his name is. Yeah, cool. I didn't watch it, but I think I put it on my list because I thought, yeah, that could be up my alley. Yeah. I do also enjoy many action films. Where is chestnut ink, Dano? Let's bring a little bit of the old chestnut ink back. There it is. Word to the wise, chestnut ink. Just be very, very careful. Alright, well, I am heading off for the day. I will be back tomorrow with bucks, maybe. Probably continuing the journey that we'll be painting this guy for the next week. Oh yeah, lots of fun things to do on this. Well, let's go raid into Benny, shall we? I forget how to do it, but let's do it. Let's go raid Benny. Raid! Boom.